something special planned for you. It's a mini ready check. Don't worry, we're not going to take more time than we were given, but we are going to properly introduce the 3 matches that are coming up because we have the top 6 facing off Trouble, so it's a unique opportunity for them to really show what they're made of.
Absolutely, and we mentioned it. The bottom of the table teams are hungry to start climbing towards the middle stages. Some of these teams, 3 of them actually, who are at the top, are going to be falling towards the middle of the pack, and some of them is hungry to take their spot.
Yeah, it's the kind of pressure that you think you have to beat these bottom tier teams to make sure you're in the top 6. So as much as it might be a matchup favorite to one team, there's a lot of nerves to be like, oh, if we lose to this team, we have to beat someone like G2 or Fnatic.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at how these top 6 teams have matched up versus each other. And we got to call out the odd duck out, I think, in terms of Astralis in that regard, who is the one that could be the gatekeeper, right? But has some great results already.
Definitely is. Yeah, sorry. No, sorry. I was just so mesmerized by the graphic.
Okay.
I was looking at Astralis wins and I was like, wow, yeah, it is really them. They took down G2. BDS also took down G2, right? Almost beating Fnatic. There's a big shake-up in the top 7, top 8. And my question is, can Astralis beat Vitality? I feel like the top 5 is not so much clear, but the Rogue, the G2, the Mad, Fnatic. XL right now, big surprise. Look quite strong when you watch their games, but Vitality Astralis seems to be battling head-to-head. This win today has helped Vitality a lot, I think.
It will.
Yeah, and I think we call Gatekeepers the number 6 team that will get into the playoffs, but I feel like Astralis have solidified themselves to be more than that. They look strong enough to take down the top of the table teams. So I think it's a case of maybe someone else might have to be the Gatekeeper this time because Astralis are looking strong.
You always have the new kids come in, Mad Lions and Rogue, the new kids on the block to break into the top 3, which is now a top 5. Now you've got the newer kids on the block in teams like Astralis and XL to break in again.
Oh, it's so fun to watch. So let's go down a couple of the matchups that we have today. Of course, XL versus Rogue we were talking about at the tail end, but I want to start by talking about Mad versus G2 as well. It is such a great game to watch because of the budding rivalry that it is. The Mad Lions who stormed and took over after G2 was ruling this land, but it looks a little bit different this time around.
It definitely does, and it's Nisqy versus Caps. They've got quite a long history together, I believe. I mean, last year, Nisqy stopped Caps from going to Worlds in a Game 5. 5 games of TF in a row. He stopped them from being able to make it. He went and had a stint in an NA, of course, prior to that, when he, I believe he was on Splice. Humanoid was playing for Splice at the time to make it into the Worlds, but Nisqy was on Splice before, so he's been around in EU for such a long time. Now he's back, Fnatic, now Mad Lions.
And I feel like it's a lot of a difference in the stylistic that these 2 guys play, right? Caps, the god of outplays. We had the cold open as well with Medi, where he's like, if there's a crowd, Caps does not lose the 1v2 or the 1v1s, right? But if you go all the way to the other side for Nisqy, I think he brings a completely different flair when it comes to Mad. He micromanages them. He helps them play the map. Taking the weight off of Elyoya, having to shot call on his own, has showed up to be huge for them so far.
Definitely has, and he's more of a playmaker for his team, rather for himself, and Caps is the opposite. So not only do they share rivalries against each other, they play very different playstyles.
Oh, I love that perspective. We're going to see that in the last game of the day. But we also have Astralis up versus Fnatic. When you talk about Astralis being the gatekeeper or not, I actually feel they have a chance here to take down Fnatic, Trouble.
And I feel like it's all about that bot lane. When we think about Fnatic, we think about the Hylissang upset duo. We're like, what are these guys going to play to take the 2 versus 2 kill? And this time I'm going to go over to the other side, Astralis. Jonghyun versus Hylissang, both playing Pyke as well. And there's a huge difference between the 2. I feel like Hylissang's Pyke is more about getting your flash level 1, killing you level 2, level 3 giving a second kill over to Upset. Jonghyun was more about the map, bleeding his pressure towards the mid and the top lane and making plays around the map.
Jonghyun's definitely surprised us all with these first 2 weeks. He's been very flashy and he can't stop catching our eye. I think Mikyx probably has something to say about that Pyke situation.
Yeah.
He's a huge Pyke player as well.
Right?
Who's the best Pyke in Europe?
We also have Targamas, guys.
We do?
Yeah, this matchup, Fnatic Astralis, you can go through the bench and see Wunder versus Chachi. I don't know how many times they played against each other, but Odoamne is up there with a hell of a lot of times in that top lane duel, but definitely bot lanes where you got to keep your eyes on, especially with the rise of Kobe.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and I think Astralis is a fun one in that regard because there's a couple of players there that maybe you would have said, oh, you know, is their time kind of over?
Yeah.
But as a new unit, it is working well. What do you think is making it work, Caedrel?
I think it's the uniqueness that they're bringing to the LEC. We've seen Yone mids out of the Yor, which we just saw one-dimensional picks of Vex last split. Vex, Jarvan go in and play. We're seeing Seraphine bots. We're seeing Veigar bots. We do things like the Pyke. We'll see what they can do with Senna, Swain flexes perhaps. But I feel like if you look at interviews, I believe it was, I said on the desk, it was Sandbox, someone on the LCK teams was referencing a lot of the EU drafts. And they were looking at LEC teams' drafts and saying, we should implement this.
Great.
And then once Seraphine was successful in the LEC, we've seen it now be successful in the LCK. So it's on Astralis to keep...
What you're saying is Astralis is leading the way
Astralis
for LCK
is
meta.
determining the LCK meta. Clip it, headline it.
Clip it.
But they need to keep it up. They need to keep showing us innovation.
Yeah, and I feel like, look at Kobe's champion pool in the last few games, right? He's played control mages, he's played enchanters, he's played scaling AD carries and early game AD carries. The fact that you're a marksman down in the bot lane is bringing so much versatility while having the rock solid top side of the map allows you to try so many different playstyles, and throwing in this little surprise with a pike in there really works.
Why would you play someone at their own meta when you're worse with them with the firepower, with lanes, with team macro? Play your own meta, right? Play your own game, and I think that's the most important thing is what we see from Astralis.
Oh, that's fantastic, and I think it's also going to be a topic in this one that we are previewing is up on the stage next. Rogue versus XL. It's just a great time if you're an XL fan, I think. Maybe not yet a Rogue fan, but, you know, usually they come into their own.
Yeah, and before we dive deep, it's a great time to be an LEC fan for jungle role specifically. How many shining stars have we seen? You know, the likes of Self-Made on the rise and Inspired back in the days. Elyoya just showing us all up who's the best jungle in the LEC last year. And now Malrang and Markoon have come in and they're showing the hell up with first place finishes. Markoon being one of the best junglers in the league right now. So
not one of the best. He is statistically at least
the best. Mathematically, you can't argue with the numbers, right?
So can't argue with the numbers.
They're doing work for their team.
And I feel like, I don't know what this Olympic sport is, where you're holding something and then you're running and you give it over to the next one.
That's the baton. It's running.
No, it's when you're running the track, right?
Relay race.
Oh, relay racing.
I felt like this is Markoon and Malrang, because Malrang came into spring and he brought a completely new flair. He brought in the Predators, he brought in the first strikes, he brought in aggression and proactivity in the early game that helped Rogue create a new era around the team, around the style that they play. And now Markoon is following through with this in spring. And it's kind of like taking the fire off of Malrang, taking it for
himself.
That's
the Olympic flame I think you're talking about now.
Not
but
the Olympic flame, it's a sport!
I don't think it's on fire, the thing.
And I think we have to give credit to the supports who have unlocked these junglers, especially, right? Kaiser was first to unlock Elyoya. Trymbi's really unlocking Malrang, and Mikyx has really unlocked Markoon from last split, right? I think they were 2-3, 2-4 coming into the first few weeks of spring. Mikyx joins, shaky start, but ever since that bootcamp, they look phenomenal together.
Yeah, and I think XL, again, is a fun team to root for because of the mix between someone like Markoon and some more experienced players. Same goes for Rogue, actually. But XL, they absolutely dismantled Mad last weekend, and Nymera is standing by to showcase how they did it. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Sjokz. It wasn't just a dismantling, it was actually the fastest game of the LEC this year. That was how crazy XL managed to destroy the early game. So we've actually got a pretty lengthy clip coming up, and during this clip, there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. I want you to keep in mind 3 things. The first is, what does XL do when they spot someone of the enemy team, and what do they do in response to that? That's number 1. Number 2, what do they do in terms of their resets after that point? Because they make a lot of plays in regards to the map and really making sure that they can get back there on time. And then 3, it's kind of the process of elimination of everything that comes around after that point. So we start here very early into the game with Mads Elyoya trying to head towards topside. So this happens very, very quickly into this play, where a minion walks forward, and if you just saw that blip just there, gets spotted going from bot side up towards top. So with this, you end up being able to see that with Volibear on the bot side, he's got a clear chance to go towards there. They know that likely they've got a play coming towards top side at the same time. The cross map is on. So with this being said, let's look at how these teams start walking around. You can see some blue pings, and this is another key thing which XL do very, very well. Lane management. They're not just hitting this wave willy-nilly, they're just making sure it's going to slowly push in. It's going to be there in time for the Volibear to turn up, and it's also going to make sure that no excess minions are going to be hit by Mad, so they're going to be stuck at low XP. They won't get that level 3 for the dive. While this is happening, Finn has cleared out the wave and luckily managed to survive through this. So, with that being said, the top lane play has kind of failed from Mad. That means that the cross map comes in around the bot turret, XL using that knowledge that Elyoya was going to be topside and their wave management to pull this off. Second interesting thing happens there. Now, what we see here is that XL know once again that this top lane has kind of got that advantage, but they still have the power on bot side, knowing that Elyoya can't be there in time to re-dive. Because they can re-dive it, it means that they can get rid of the teleport from top side. that advantage, the small one which Mad got towards topside, is already gone. They've not managed to get the kill topside. They got a flash, sure, but they haven't even managed to get that teleport advantage seen through. So with this, XL, they managed to survive the second dive. They weren't really aiming for kills, and then the next pot comes in. It just keeps happening. Look at this. Finn isn't even actually hitting the wave. He is slow pushing. And what this means is that if you have Gwen now down on your bot side, Gwen has to run towards this lane. That is going to be a huge wave crashing in. This is where the second point comes in, of which we mentioned right at the start in terms of what are XL doing their resets. Their bot lane have reset, and what they're going to do is they're going to run towards their bot jungle. This allows them to respond mid. They also know that Gwen won't be there if they make a play mid. What the one thing is they're waiting for at this point is jungle and support to show from Mad before they can make plays anywhere else on the map. Because Finn has set up top lane to make sure Gwen is out of the equation, things go a little differently. While this is happening, Nisqy walks up for vision, but as you can see on the bot side, Nautilus has already shown. At this point, XL know clearly they are going to be uncontested in the play mid. They have managed to get the kill mid at this point because Nisqy doesn't have teammates there. XL in this clip showcase so many skills. They use their wave management to force Mad's hand. They use their ability to know where people on the map are to get uncontested plays, and they get to destroy so many lanes at the same time. It is a whole map effort. It is a whole team effort. XL, with this series of plays, have showcased a lot of skills in how they destroy that early game. So with that quick breakdown, it's time to get ready for our third game of the night, and our first in our clashes between the top 6, XL versus Rogue.
We were kind of not that prepared as we were the last 8 weeks and the playoffs run until the finals.
And Rogue died forward and Astralis die.
Yeah, so basically after the disaster that happened in week 1, we just gathered up and we had a team talk. And we just discussed like what we thought was going wrong and why we started like this. And I think it was actually pretty useful.
Everyone was pushing that if we want to make it to Worlds, we have to go to the bootcamp, so we pushed for it with XL, and they said, okay, let's make it happen.
Looks for the TP, he's in. A great gnaw pulls them back. Nukeduck looks for the backline and Kazi is assassinated by...
I just felt like we really had a breakthrough there that really pushed us to our new ceiling.
Yeah, I think we just, play normal, then we probably just beat them.
And we are ready for the third game of the day.
We are ready for Medivedi
versus Rogue. Medivedi Perksy.
Wait, what? I'm here?
Perksening.
Wait,
Welcome,
what?
Perks.
Why am I here?
Because we value your incredible insight.
We have we actually have a pool that we want to take you to later. So we need to have some discussions.
Okay. I mean, I don't know why I'm here with these two.
How are you doing, friend?
I'm doing great, yeah.
That's good. Basically, what we're going to do is going to talk about some League of Legends from your perspective. How many titles have you won in LEC now? 6, 7?
In LEC?
Yeah.
8.
8, and then 1 in NA.
And 1 in NA.
World Finals appearance.
And 1 MSI. Don't forget
MSI. Don't forget the MSI.
That was mostly promiscuous, though, right?
So we're going to get the wonderful insight from Perks for the early game and for the draft. That does mean that we have to wait for this wonderful music to play before we get into draft. So without further ado, let's play the music.
I like music though.
That's nice.
Yeah. All right, so draft. Perks, when you're playing against both these teams, what are the first things that you're thinking of that you need to take off the board?
So we are thinking Larssen, Blaze Mages, Corki, Azir, yeah, that stuff. Great, right?
Do you normally ban that against Larssen though?
I mean, depends, right? Like, depends how you want to approach the draft. I think you never just ban something because somebody plays it. You have a specific tactic you want to use for this draft, right? Like, for example, like SG2, we banned Lissandra and first pick Ari, right?
Right.
And then we still lost to like Sven in 4-5.
Yeah.
But at least our idea was that we play active mid and he doesn't play active mid. And
yes.
That should be good for us, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's like everyone has like their strategy against specific team, right? And that can change for different games, right? But yeah, I think it makes sense to ban Corki. I think XL wants to be more active in the mid lane than Rogue wants to be. So probably looking for that Lissandra TFs in the mid lane.
What do you think about the Volibear ban? Do you think that's more directed towards Malrang to remove some of that early game agency, or do you think that's something else?
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Markoon is like a ganker on Rogue, and he hasn't had the most successful ganking split, and Volibear is the best ganking jungler, so I guess makes sense to like remove the best one from him. I think it's alright. And the Seraphine they've shown they played it both right, and they can probably flex more roles, I assume. And it's red side, so it's like really strong because you can get top counter pick or a stronger side laner. So yeah, this all makes sense, like just prior picks getting taken away, right?
Makes sense.
XL deciding that they want the Wukong as their priority jungler with the Volibear banned away does make a lot of sense. There's the Gangplank Kalista immediately locked in for Rogue, though, two very strong picks.
So we often see a lot of Kalista in the current meta, even though it does feel like that the meta is shifting more towards scaling.
This is really interesting because Patrik is actually a Draven player, and he really is good at Draven. So like kind of picking Kalista 1-2 against XL is just like kind of teasing them, I would say, in a way.
Right.
Like oh, you play Draven? Oh, go pick your Draven, you know? We will beat you in the Kalista Draven matchup, which is kind of like a skill matchup. But now XL is like spitting in their face and they're saying, oh, we are so much better than you bot lane, we can just drop against Kalista and we'll beat you anyways. So I actually like what XL is doing here, mismatching the bot lane and getting the strong top set picks for them, which like I think XL bot lane has been playing super well this split. So for sure they can like they can find something in 4-5 that's gonna still be fine for them and giving their team more chances of winning top set in this game, right?
I will say I've never heard someone spitting in their face in draft before. I do like the analogy though, it makes a lot of sense. So, XL, a little globlet of spit going across towards the other side of the stage with the Kayle and the RE.
What's also interesting is Patrik and Mikyx also played that matchup into upsets Draven too, and they won the 2v2 with the Kalista. So I think they're pretty happy to take either side of the matchup. The Azir...
So if Rogue is really cocky right now, maybe they don't ban the Draven, because Azir and GP are pretty good champs against Draven.
Yeah.
So maybe they're like, oh, it's fine, if he doesn't win lane, he's gonna be useless, so maybe Draven ban is not actually needed in this specific case. We will see what they opt to, right? It would be still smart to ban it, I would say.
And you could look towards supports as well, if you want to leave that Draven open and they're going to ban the Senna here.
Do you need something specific?
I mean, truth is actually there's like, I mean, not really. I think you can play many lanes like Draven, Alistair, Nautilus, Renata. But there's like so many bot lanes open this game. Yeah. Like there is still, there is Aphelios, there is what, you can still play Ezreal. I mean, losing lane, but you can play it, right? You can play Draven. Well, they took away Senna. I mean, there is actually a lot of bot lanes up, which I didn't even notice, so.
Lucian's still up as well. It's got all the way through here. Obviously, with a Nami band, it's not as strong down towards that bottom side.
And Larssen goes for Azir. That was like, they probably expected this. Like, this is like, it wasn't
typical
like,
Larssen,
it wasn't like an unexpected. I mean, Azir is a slightly winning lane into Ahri, but the thing is, Ahri is just more active, right?
Yeah.
And she wants to fight the Heralds and the Dragons, and I fell under the same trap myself. Like picking Azir really high prio before, which is still a fine champ. I can still pull him out. It still has situations, but like, I'm not the biggest fan of this matchup after losing, I guess.
What, you mean from the Azir side?
Yeah, after losing with being 30 CS up and not being able to do anything, I am not the biggest fan of playing Azir anymore.
That's fair.
So yeah, I feel like it's maybe like in this draft it would be really good to go Lissandra on 3 instead, because Lissandra is really good against Kayle and is good against Ahri.
Yeah.
But it looks like Larssen just doesn't play it right.
Yeah. I mean, that's also been one of the big criticisms for Rogue in terms of their drafting not being the most flexible.
So you see, they actually did ban the Ezreal because their champs are really bad against Ezreal. Like Azir and GP are really bad against Ezreal as their champions. They don't have any lockdown for him, so they're like, they don't give a shit about Draven actually, and they will just play the matchup because they have counter pick support, so that makes it better for the Kalista lane. But let's see what Patrik and Mikyx go for here.
Could this also be Kalista Jarvan bot?
Yes, it could. Yes, it very well could. Yeah, I think it could, yeah.
Because when I think of Jarvan, I think early game, looking very active, trying to gank, but when you're paired up with an Azir mid, would you sit there and say, we can gank mid on 3? Or what are your thoughts if you had an Azir Jarvan?
I mean, I think Jarvan is more like for the top 2v2 in this game, because Kayle is pretty volatile matchup.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he is stronger early game than Wukong before 6 at least, right? So I think it makes sense. We don't see much drama nowadays because he's not that great of a champ, personally, I would say. But and we see like Patrik and Mikyx, they just opt for the better scaling champions. They're gonna be like Zeri, pretty good against GP, pretty good against Azir.
Yeah.
Same with Rakan. much better than like something like, I don't know what else we're gonna play with Draven. So they have a, I would say if this game goes over 20 minutes, XL will just automatically win.
Really?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I guess. Wait, I'm now thinking, is this Poppy also? Because you can put Poppy support or you can put Poppy jungle.
You can double flex it. I mean, Poppy support would make probably more sense. Okay, they go for the Taric. I'm a big fan of plays the Taric lane, personally. I think this... Okay, they don't go for the Taric. No. I just did a caster curse.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so they don't go for the Taric. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I made a mistake. Nautilus, I'm a big fan of Kalista Nautilus lane, actually. I used to play it a lot in 2020.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
We were actually the CEOs of Kalista Nautilus, so it's for sure a hard winning lane for Rogue. So now the most interesting thing is that Patrik and Mikyx chose to go for the losing lane when they already have losing mid and losing top matchup, and they have a jungler that is slower paced jungler than enemy jungler, and now they're losing bot as well. So they really have 3 losing lanes and a losing jungle matchup. So we have to see, like, Rogue has to snowball this game. Like, if this game is equal in 20 minutes, they will just lose on the spot, my opinion, right? So let's see if they can do it, right?
So one of the typical things that you would see in a draft like this, especially last year, was you'd use your push mid into stacking wave bot into 4-man dive. Is that something you feel you can still do?
The thing is, you don't really want to do that with Azir, because Azir is really used as a diving, and his biggest purpose is to make the game 4 versus 4. Like when you play these mages like Azir and Victor, even Orianna to some extent, you want to make the laning phase mid 1v1, and you want to make the game 4 versus 4. This is like, for example, what Genji does really well. You know, Chovy just plays as champions, wins his lane, and then his team is winning 4 versus 4. But you're not really active on the map. Like, you don't want to fight the heralds, you don't want to fight the dragons, you don't want to roam. So the thing is that they have to win the bot 3 versus 2. So maybe that's actually why the draft is fine, but they can get a lot of objectives. They can get the crabs, they can get the dragons, and they can get the herald as well, because they do have 2 lanes of prio. So if XL gets the herald in this game, I think the game is going to be really, really hard for Rogue.
We will be able to talk about that more after we get on into the game, but we have to hand it over to our great intro.
Can I hear us now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They can always hear us.
They can always hear us. Oh my god, what just happened? I'm just trolling, guys. I got you guys.
You did get me. You really did get me.
I got you guys.
What happened? What just... Okay, so early game. What would you be doing if you are Rogue's draft? Because you said that they needed to win early. Expectations are they need to try and get this bot lane ahead specifically. What are your early game plans?
So what I would do is, I would actually, with jungler, I would path to top to try to dive the kill, because XL bot lane is for sure saying, oh, I need jungle to path bot, because we can get out of bot. Like, I would be saying as bot lane, like, I need jungle to path bot, right? And I think in that case, like, it's better for jungler to path top and mismatch, actually, because Rogue bot lane has the control of the laning phase. So they can easily not die to ganks, and the GP Kayle matchup is pretty bad for Kayle early levels, like before she gets level 6. So it's definitely something that I would look to impact if I was playing Jarvan in this game.
So this is also
another role swap for you. You went mid to AD carry, mid, now you're looking to go jungle.
I mean, jungle is pretty fun. Like, jungle and support are fun roles, because you don't actually need to have a lot of mechanics. So you just think about the game a lot, which is what I actually like to do. So maybe sometimes in the future, but you know, I still have some years left. I still have some years left in the mid lane as well. So yeah, the game going as expected. Rogue has 3 pushing lanes, right? Oh,
it's gonna land.
Whoa, okay.
Mickey flashes away. Can't look into the flash chase. No, it's not gonna be enough.
That flashback on was really bad, because he just actually ended up losing the trade after with Patrik, and just based this flash. Like, I think taking the summoners from Rakan was really great, but didn't have to go more. I think he got a bit greedy, because if Comp didn't flash, like, the wave would push slower as well, and he would be higher HP, and they could even opt into diving bot, for example, right now, because right now they took a bad trade, right? But now they push too fast. Okay, so you see now Rogue bot lane push too fast, so the wave is already crashing now, and Hexa can just like trim it, so they can't do anything. But Malrang is going for invade, because his bot lane is winning, which is fine.
Does he win this though?
Doesn't look like he actually wins the 1v1. So yeah, and now the top lane is just laning 1v1.
So if you're in this situation, because of course you've had the opportunity to play both AD carry and support, I guess your main goal here is to now attack the jungler rather than attack the bot, right?
Yes. So now you want to just take the red buff away. Honestly, if you're Rogue here, Rogue bot lane should just stay here and hit the red buff, because they have perma mid prio, and they will win 3v3 for sure. So now what happens instead is like Malrang wastes so much time. They do secure the red buff anyways, because like Rogue bottom wave was fine. They could have secured a Herald, like the wave is bouncing.
Right.
Maybe they would lose 2 minions for it, but it's completely worth to secure the red buff, and then Malrang could get new red buff, bot side crab, and cross into top side crab, and he could just basically base and clear top to bot and make sure his bottom is fine again. But instead, Malrang has wasted a lot of time, and Wukong is actually really fine in the game, and they can't even dive top, right? Because the timer is off.
Right.
They could have dove top at minute 3, not right now. So Malrang is now wasting a lot of time again, because there is nothing happening here. Wait.
So small decisions are starting to mount up.
Dude, can they even dive here? I mean, I don't even know if they can dive this, but this looks really troll to me. Maybe they managed to do it, but it just looks really troll to me. Finn manages to have a good flash. Okay, Finn fucked up the flash. Okay, I mean, okay, so when I play the game on stage as well, I feel like everyone is choking a lot and making bad decisions, and my team is doing that a lot, and I'm doing it a lot, so it's not like I'm being like cocky here or something, but like this was all like this all wasn't. This all
it was
wasn't.
more that your usage of words than what you were saying. What you were saying was fine.
Yeah.
It's just that there was a specific word in the middle that we try not to say too much.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, sorry
we
guys.
get we get like
guys.
1 or 2 a split.
Yeah, he freaks up the
sorry,
flash.
guys.
Like,
Yeah, it's
we got
okay.
freaky
All
with
good,
it.
all good. Okay. Okay, so in terms of the early game for Rogue, okay, let's have a look at this play. Medic, take it away.
Sorry, Com's gonna die.
Wow, and this happens because Com flashed forward level 1 when he shouldn't have.
Yes.
I'm just saying, guys, it's stage and everyone jokes and everyone freaks up the place. So
You're a natural, folks.
yeah. It's like, I mean, this is just stage games, guys. Like, people think stage games are like really great, but stage games are actually like equivalent to your gold games. Like, with a slightly better macro, you know. But like
Slightly better macro.
All of Twitch chat now is really happy. They're like, I can be a pro too.
All right, Medic. What about this dive? Thoughts?
Well, Finn doesn't have flash because he messed that one up earlier.
Yeah, he messed that one up earlier, but like the thing is like.
Take a breather. Tell me, what do you think about the game?
It's a plate down for Odo.
I mean, this is fine. I think he could have stayed there. There was like a series level 5. They could not dive him there, but there is like no world where they actually dive him there. I don't think like.
But they do zone him from like a whole wave, right?
I mean, it wasn't like a Rise roam or like a TF roam that has something useful. It was a 0 level 5. It didn't even have ult. Like Finn could have for sure stayed on the turret there, and there was nothing. Nothing happened to him. Like nothing bad would happen to him. Maybe he would actually just get a kill because they would try to dive him.
I guess the only other thing is I don't know if they saw Trymbi on the map. There's always the risk that he could run top 2, right?
True. That is a fact. I mean, I would have to like go back and check the support tempo. I'm not really like doing all that after this, you know, like during the game right now. Nukeduck dodging the cook perfectly. Like, wow, that was.
So
that
tell
was
me,
great.
what is the difference between a dodge and a miss?
So the difference between a dodge and a miss is that like, so when you dodge a hook, it is because you dodged it.
Right.
And when enemy miss a hook, it means that, so when enemy miss a hook, it means that like if they actually played it perfect, they could never miss that.
Right. Flash engage onto Comp. He has no flash from the earlier play. Markoon's looking for it as well. Exhaust goes down. Trymbi with a good body guard position here. Markoon's going to try and get away. But Cannon Barrage is just too darn broken. Rogue with 2 kills.
Like, how OP is GP? You try to gank bot, and then you just die.
So, it's one of those situations where you're a little critical of Rogue's very early laning phase, but now they've been able to find a successful counter gank off the back of getting Odoamne that slight level advantage top, and then they were able to use the ultimate to be able to build advantages. So you talked about Rogue needing to get a lead early.
I mean, they do have like giga hard winning early game draft. Like, there's so many things to do that maybe they get confused as well, right? Like, Excel, they can't do anything but defend. Right. Like, literally. So right now, if you're Rogue, you probably want to try to get the Herald, and then you can just snowball the game out of, like... But you see, Excel is like... They've usually played winning early game drafts, and they've usually been snowballing.
Yes.
But the thing is, they're playing Rakan Zeri, they're trying to, like, go on enemy AD when enemy jungle can be there. So, like, they're really trolling right now. They could have just... They were not in danger here. They could have just based and, like, go topside game with jungle, but, like, they tried to force a gank when the gank was not there, and they get punished for it.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, at what point do you think Excel's comp comes online? 2 items?
Excel's comp, yeah, I mean, I think on 1 item they're already okay. Like, mid jungle is pretty strong on 1 item. they are supposed to fall a bit behind early game, but they are supposed to be stronger on one item when they get it.
Yeah.
The thing is with Zeri versus Kalista, I'm pretty sure Kalista is stronger on one item, and their duo is just stronger. So Zeri needs 2 items as a champion. She needs 2 items as a champion, but they do have strong mid jungle, which should be able to get Zeri to 2 items, I think at least.
Okay, so Herald fight, you would naturally give the advantage to Rogue, right? So XL...
I mean, this Herald is free, like Zeri's bot. So right now what XL wants to do is they want to just clear towards bot and go into any bot's jungle and maybe deny comp like a wave or 2, if they can do it. But the thing is that comp and Trymbi have flashes and ults, and Mikyx and Patrik have no flashes, so I think they will just get Herald for absolutely nothing, and comp will get all the minions, and this game is completely over, send it home.
Okay, so where do you now use the Herald if you're Rogue?
So if you're Rogue, let me see the plates. If you're Rogue, I mean, you can use the Herald wherever is the lowest plates because gold is good on everyone. But I would probably use top, honestly, because this top matchup is like GP is... guys, listen to me, GP is an OP champion.
He is an OP champ, I would agree.
GP is an OP champion, so... Ooh.
Good divide there by Larssen.
Good ult, good ult. Very well done.
Okay, so, because this is something that we talked about when you have things like Herald, often you can use it as a tool to funnel your winning bot side, or you can just use it as a tool to like open up the map. So for example, against the Zias, many teams will use it to help them siege that
get
first
mid turret, right? Yeah, that is good, but this game, mid turret is not that big of an importance to XL, and it is actually good for Rogue to open up the map. So using it top, because on top they can stack waves and Kayle cannot clear them. Like Rakan and Zeri can actually fight bot side with Wukong. And then it's much more likely that Wukong covers bot side from now on than top side. So like just basing and running top. Look, top turret is 4 plates, almost 3. Bot I mean 5 plates. So you want to use it wherever is the lowest amount of plates, and I feel like top is like pretty vulnerable right now. So they could just get mid power and run top. I don't think Rogue will do that because they do play towards bot. So they will just go bot with Herald and just pop it for plates there, which is also okay. Like there is no bad solution right now. It just I would probably prefer just making the Kayle like more behind as well. Yeah, and make GP even get even more gold. Even though I mean they probably think okay GP is really far ahead right now. Now we don't need to do anything else top, right? And we can just play bot side as well. But I mean we can see what they do, right?
Okay, so Perks, typically we only keep a pro player on for the first 10 minutes of the game.
I want to keep him for the whole game.
Yeah, I know, but we do. So before we send you off, are there any last things you want to say about the game? Before you go.
About this game right now.
About this game.
Just generally about the game.
I mean, you've already called the game over.
Or about League of Legends.
You can also speak. This is your platform right now. You can say whatever you want.
Okay. If anybody is listening to me, if anybody in the whole world right now is listening to me, and I'm pretty sure someone is listening to me right now.
Probably.
You guys, like, you don't have to respect what I say right now, but you have to listen to it. Please delete Yuumi from the game. Like, please, let's all put a petition. Let's put a petition to Riot. Like, let's write it. Let's send it. Like, let's just put a petition to Riot to delete Yuumi from the game. It's anti-fun to play. It's anti-fun to play against. You don't want to have her like watch you all the time, be on you, judge your every move. You don't want your support to like, I don't know, eat a burger and a milkshake like during laning phase as well. Like,
that's fair.
Just delete the cat. Nobody likes her. Yeah, and that's about it. Yeah,
Signed Perks.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Drop the mic.
All of us.
Drop the mic. Walk away. That's what you got to do right now.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Perks.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you. Round of applause.
Bye bye, guys.
Thank you so much, man. Absolute pleasure.
Great insight from Perks. What a legend.
What a legend. Got our first F-bomb of the split. That broke me, I'll be honest.
Wow. I love his opinions on the game. Hopefully we can get him back in the future. If you did enjoy that, make sure you go to all the social medias, let LEC know, tweet at Perks on Twitter as well.
Sign that petition as Malrang looks for Finn in the top lane. He's going to flash away. Will be able to survive, but it does look like Rogue are going to invest this Rift out towards the top side. Perks on the ball with his prediction.
He certainly was, yeah. He expected Rogue to actually play more towards the bot side, but he talked so much about how it opens up the map more. You're putting that Kayle further and further behind, and overall Rogue doing a good job of snowballing this early game. I like the point that Perks made earlier where it felt like XL, they've drafted themselves a composition that is much more catered towards scaling, which means that they have to, well, play more defensively, and then trying to be proactive ended up punishing them very harshly. But overall, credit to Rogue. This is very reminiscent of their old style from last spring, where they were actually super dominant in the early game, and a lot of that came from their typical drafting style of drafting a lot of winning lanes.
And XL have been very strong in the early game. Perks was saying it, like, they've been winning most of their early games, been able to snowball from there. This game, they are behind, and Rogue in a very strong position, about 4,000 gold ahead at the 13-minute mark. Probably the largest deficit XL have seen them in at least this split, if not for a few weeks.
Outside of G2, G2 would be the only exception to that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if they were 4,000 gold behind.
But for sure, it's a very significant early game deficit for sure. Markoon hovering around the bot side for the time being, looking for an opportunity. All summoners are up and available for Rogue. Looks like nothing's really going to come of it. Markoon primarily just covering for his bot side there.
We got a second, right, Veddy?
We got a second.
Trymbi! What a legend! 100 LEC games.
Wow, already?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, obviously, he's been to playoffs a few times, so that's always going to bolster up your
like
total games.
Yesterday
The Emperor's Divide comes in the mid lane. Betty told me we had time in the Spirit Rush away from Nukeduck. And give us a little bit more time to celebrate Trymbi's 100th game on the LEC stage.
Wow, it feels like only yesterday when he joined. But wow, 100 games already.
Oh, that was really good by Malrang. Nukeduck, though, missed the charm. Cannon Barrage goes down. Nukeduck has to dodge forward. Counter charm coming out for Mickey, but Rogue on the board. Larssen flashes forward. Mickey just survives. Markoon going back in with the Cyclone. Looking for Malrang. Flash away by Larssen. No flash for Markoon. He already burnt that one in this trade. Could Nimbus strike forward here, but Malrang pretty tanky already with that Frostfire. Trymbi coming back in. Depth charge. Underneath the tower, Markoon will escape.
Wow, okay, so Rogue find themselves another kill. Trymbi to cover for his mid lane. And I don't know what he just said.
Let's go, Trymbi.
We'll
say that.
Supportive, encouraging.
Oh, Patrik. So the W, which is a Lux laser but wider on a shorter cooldown, was going to miss. So I'll just flash, Blitzcrank ult you. That will kill you.
Yeah, good job, Patrik. Finds a kill. Though, Larssen, he kind of griefed that. He really did overstay.
Yeah.
And ends up getting punished for it. It's been a bit of a weird early game, I will say. Rogue, though, still find themselves with the early game lead. The bot lane going to be pushed out. Oh, hang on, actually. They're looking for a bit of a sneaky gank here. Nukeduck doesn't have any summoners, and he doesn't have his ultimate available, but he's not going to fall for the trap. He will just disengage from the lane. Or will he? Uh-oh. They're playing the long con.
Nukeduck's ult is about to come off cooldown. It can't be more than 20 seconds away.
He's not buying it. He sees the map completely empty, and he's saying, nope.
Yeah, Comp comes out and like, hey. I knew you were trying to be sneaky.
This is where in all chat you type question mark. You know, your confidence. As in, like, you didn't know. But
do you ever type, I see you, even when you don't see anyone on the map?
People that do that make no sense to me.
I do it all the time. It's like, the jungler might be here, I see you. Oh, Comp's going to get exhausted here. Markoon looking for it as well. Cleanse away. Comp still going forward. Nukeduck has the Spirit Rush back available. Trymbi called back with a base call, but Comp locked in with the charm, and there's no way for the Rogue bot laner to go. XL Mickey gets the kill.
It was a bit awkward there. Markoon actually used his Q on the control ward in the brush, which meant that Mickey then had to come in and assist Nukeduck in securing that last kill. But XL find themselves another, and even though they are at a deficit, funnily enough, they're the ones being proactive on the map. I think the comp ultimately just stayed way too long in the bot lane there. They really committed to that play on getting a kill onto Nukeduck. It makes sense because he didn't have flash, his ultimate wasn't available, but then they tried to siege onto the tower. They didn't have control over that area of the map because Malrang needed to reset, go contest his Herald. And of course, it will mean that Rogue secure the Herald, but of course, XL find themselves another kill.
And that's all they have to do. If they can find some picks, that's how they stabilize this game state. They are another Rift Herald down, though. Rogue with both of those on the board here and still with that 3,000 gold lead. So they'll be looking to try and accelerate things. 2 items on Odoamne. He has that Mortal Reminder alongside his Trinity Force Gangplank. Going to do a lot of work in these team fights. But with XL able to pick up 1 dragon, delaying the soul is actually really good for them as well, because it means they're not forced into a fight against Rogue in 3 minutes' time to try and get that 3rd dragon of the game.
Yeah, I mean, now Rogue's mid-game is going to be put under scrutiny, as with this lead, they need to keep the momentum going. I mean, Perks talked a lot about how they had winning lanes all across the board. Their siege is also pretty good, especially when you have an Azir and a Gangplank combined together.
What would that be? The Azir Plank?
The Azir
it's
Plank.
Like some sort of weird chimera of Azir and Gangplank combined together.
It's when, like, I don't...
It's a pirate bird. It's the parrot on a pirate's shoulder.
Enough, that's what I thought of. That's funny. I was like, it's some weird pirate bird. You know, something that a bird that can speak that associates with pirates.
Parrots.
I know. We should call it
the pirate
bird.
Yeah.
The sand pirate bird. Yeah, that sounds good.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Markoon forced away here by Malrang. Rogue trying to accelerate things by taking their second tower of the game. That's exactly what they want to do. use Trymbi and Malrang together to put some pressure down. Odoamne puts the cannon barrage down, but Finn able to walk forward out of it. Old Shock Laser coming in. Nukeduck has the Spirit Rush here. Should be able to get away from Malrang. Charms him towards the tower. The Everfrost used as well, and Odo towards the top side did just flash out of the back of the Baron pit.
Okay, so just trading across the map. Odoamne took a bit of a disrespectful path there, going through the river when he had no control of that area of the map. Will mean that he loses his flash for it, but didn't end up dying. Actually using this Herald to commit to the tier 2. They do have control of the bot side jungle. The rest of XL are making their way down to try and contest. Markoon will be able to secure the kill. But we kind of look at the map state right now. You can see that Finn has hit level 12. The matchup will slowly get better for the Kayle as scaling continues to mount up. His XP is actually doing very well considering the amount of pressure that was thrown his way.
As a note, that's total XP they've earned and then their level above it. So you can see Finn has the most total XP in the game, but he doesn't have 10,000 XP in level 13, as Markoon is caught a little bit, but can just decoy away. Goes up, Malrang and Trymbi unable to chase him.
Other fun fact about our overlay is that next to the champion portraits, you can see, hang on,
Cataclysm flash by
flash.
Nukeduck flashes the damage. Malrang's going to flash forward though. That martial cadence buff may be enough. It's not, as Mikyx here in time with the quickness to charm up Malrang, and the shutdown goes over to Markoon.
The overcommitment there from Malrang. Mikyx played that extremely well, got the heal off from his Q, then provided the shield alongside the Guardian. Everything came together to keep Nukeduck alive, and even with the red smite, Malrang just didn't have enough damage to secure that kill.
I mean, he is tank, Jarvan. So
Yes.
even with martial cadence buffs, doing a little bit more damage on that passive wasn't quite enough. I think you should bring out the circle after the replay to show the purple bar you were going to talk about.
I will do. But let's have a look back at this one. So this flash timing is really well done from Nukeduck. Is able to dodge away from the damage. And then look at this here from Mikyx. The shield from the E into then the second shield from his E. Oh, so the Guardian wasn't even procs, but the heal from his Q in particular is what really came in clutch there to keep Nukeduck alive. Interestingly, Nukeduck actually running Spellbook. I didn't notice that earlier. Typically, you see the Electrocute coming out from the Ares. Wanted a few more options, I suppose, in this game.
I guess also knowing you're in a losing lane against an Azir, you're not often going to be able to get around and proc that Electrocute with the Dragon. Markoon lands the smite, can decoy over the wall. Next, they get that one really cleanly. Cannon barrage invested, not much going to come out of it.
I will say that even though Rogue have the gold leads, they have the tower advantage, it feels like the game is kind of slipping out of their control quite quickly right now. A few overcommittal plays means that XL have been able to get back on the board a little bit here and there.
Also, Odo hasn't been involved that much. He's cannon barraging like at the end of a fight, and he did try and come down here, but Rogue was just a little bit late on that play. Odo with almost 10,000 gold, 1,500 more than anyone else in the game. He needs to be involved in these plays if Rogue are actually going to utilize their gold lead, because he is the predominant portion of it for Rogue.
Sure. I mean, for the time being, I think he's fine, but I am surprised that XL have given, well, sorry, Rogue have given away so many early game, early Drakes. That's what I'm trying to say.
Do the circle.
The circle? Oh, right. Okay, I'll show you guys. I'll actually use the square. So this might not be helpful at all, but if you have a look at this portrait,
which one are we
you can see right here.
Here we go.
An XP. Okay, that didn't help either.
Okay, so you see next to the
XP bar.
The purple bar is their XP.
It's the XP bar.
And it's not the easiest thing to notice.
No.
So I thought we'd tell you guys about it. Markoon about to hit level 12, Malrang about to hit level 11.
Yes, exactly.
Just gives you that little bit more context. As Trymbi lands a hook's going to get Everfrost, depth charge going on to Nukeduck, but Mikyx can just dodge away from this one. A lot of investment coming in with the Cataclysm as well, but the Lightning Crash has been used. Knockup coming in. Larssen knocked back with the Cyclone. He's going to try and use the Emperor's Divide. Comes away being able to take down one. Patrik dodging in, diving out. Unable to find the fight, and Odoamne is now here for the party. The charm going down, though, and once again, Larssen maybe a little bit too deep. XL capitalize on his hubris as now Finn is going to join this fray. From the side, the Divine Judgment, a possibility for him. Trymbi, nowhere to go. Patrik diving over the walls. And although it looked good for Rogue, it looks even better for XL. Divine Judgment reigns from above. A triple for Kayle.
Oh, what a terrible fight for Rogue. It looked so good. The wombo combo was there. But I don't know if I don't know how Larssen's E got interrupted, but it did. The wombo combo didn't come through. XL find a clean ace, and now at 22.5 minutes, they have the Baron.
And Finn has level 15 as well. I think it's a Cyclone that
We'll
stops
keep
it,
an
but
eye
we'll
out.
have a watch.
But you can see here, the engage comes through from Trymbi. They're saying, you know what, it's easy for us to collapse here. Let's start the fight off. So Great engage, even at a numbers disadvantage from Malrang. Let's get the slow-mo right here. Ease in.
Yep,
He gets knocked up, but yeah, you're right. Medic, you called it, you spotted it. He couldn't get in behind, he couldn't get that ultimate off, and then Trymbi and Malrang, they're forced to disengage. And at this point, the fight is still fine, but Comp then flashes in, and this is where it's way too overcommittal once again. And it feels like that this has been the story of the game for Rogue. Just constant overcommitments have given XL these windows to fight back.
And as soon as you're on the back foot against a Zeri that has built up her passive stacks from the Lightning Crash from that ultimate, it's impossible to play. The Divine Judgment is the icing on the cake. A triple kill for Finn is huge for XL as well, putting more gold into that Chaos pocket. And you can see only a couple of moments ago, Odoamne was 2k ahead in this top lane, and now it's only about 800 gold between the two. Baron remains on XL for the next 2 minutes. They are looking for their 5th win of the split. And Rogue falling a little bit by the wayside. Hook's going to land there. Finn goes in, and Larssen, you have no flash. You really have nowhere to go. Divine Judgment, not a possibility, but just look at the damage. Finn truly ascended now on this KO. Malrang dives back forward. Finn, no Divine Judgment. This could be good. As Rogue are able to find a shutdown, Larssen takes his first kill of the game.
Well, that's a big commitment towards the bot side of the map for Rogue, and this will open up the mid and top tier 2. But
this is really good from Rogue. 2 picks. Slows down the Baron push. They will lose some damage on this mid tier 2. Bait score used by Trymbi for the chase. Depth charge not available. Cannon Barrage going in as well. And Comp has found Patrik on his lonesome alongside Trymbi here. Rogue with 3 kills. They're looking for more. They're looking for 4. Markoon goes in with a Cyclone, but Larssen just shuffles him back across the wall, back into the jungle. And the rest of Rogue are waiting for him. Another Cyclone, but Larssen able to dodge away from that one. 4 kills for naught for Rogue.
Okay, so we're juggling a little bit this game. It's from one side to the other. They're passing the tennis ball, and it doesn't seem to be going... Well, I guess this is what we would call peak League of Legends here in Europe. Wow.
None of that pansy stuff, Betty. This is peak League of Legends.
I'm a little shocked as to what happens, because typically when 2 members from Rogue are invested into bot and you get a kill, that means that XL are guaranteed numbers advantage, and then you can siege. Easy free towers. It's one of those situations where Rogue is just trying to make the best out of a bad situation. If you feel you can't defend those towers anyway, you may as well try and get something else somewhere on the map. But they find that pick onto Mikyx, they find another pick onto Patrik, they then find another pick onto Markoon, and all of a sudden Rogue find themselves with a 2k gold lead once again. Now, the 4th rank of the game has spawned. It looks like they are not going, sorry, XL rather, are not going to contest it. 9-9, 25 minutes in, 18 kills, and the Baron buff will wear off.
Plus 62, plus 100 or so from the Baron. You get 1.5k just for taking the damn thing. That is a huge net loss for XL across the course of that Baron. Of course, you do get some experience from it as well, so, you know, maybe they got KO to level 16 and that was their entire goal. Everything after that was just icing on the cake. Rogue, though, still with 1,000, 2,000 gold lead. 2.5 items complete on Finn, though, on this KO. Odoamne sitting at 3 and a bit.
All I'm going to say is, I didn't say it, but Perks, professional player, multi-time LEC champion, MSI champion, North American champion.
Tell me what he said,
He
buddy.
said that sometimes stage games are like gold games. You know, he said that, not me.
He also said if the game gets to 20 minutes, XL win.
He did also say that.
It's 26 minutes now.
Wow, and the game's not over yet.
No, XL will lose it. For a little bit in the middle there.
A lot of contentious stuff said by Perks.
There was that one word that we can't repeat.
Shout out to Perks, absolutely fantastic guest. But yeah, it's been a bit of a messy game. It's been a lot of fun, but it really has been both sides making pretty big mistakes that the other side has then immediately gone to capitalize off. So the question is, where will the next mistake come from? Will it be a clean end to the game, or will it be a, well, a game of dodgeball, I guess?
I could audition for the NHL. NHL? That's not what I meant. NFL.
Oh.
They're quarterbacks, right? Veritable Tim Tebow here.
The NHL, I suppose it's like a UK bank or something. Oh.
National Hockey League is NHL. Oh. NFL is what I was going for. But, or, you know, cricket, a more gentlemanly sport.
Is it? The slow sport?
Yeah.
You play like 7 games.
So test matches are over 5 days.
Don't explain.
ODIs and T20s
no,
are like...
I don't care.
But a T20 is actually a really cool format,
if I could watch
especially the
Corki or I could watch cricket, I'm choosing Corki.
It's the same sort of thing, because you know, you're throwing balls at them and they're trying to dodge them. So miss our
you don't dodge in cricket. No,
you don't want to get hit by the ball in cricket.
I'm not talking about cricket. We're not talking about cricket.
Okay.
We're talking about the Baron that's spawning in a minute's time. XL have top river control. They've pushed in mid, they've pushed in top. Gangplank is bot lane, just hit level 16. Finn, though, everyone in chat has already gone past the 16 mark. They're now ticking down to 18. Their Monka S's are in full effect.
Yep, 3 items on the KL as well.
Trymbi.
Nukeduck looking for the charm. Trymbi's going to hook his way away, but Finn is on the chase. Level 16 has been hit. Cannon Barrage will distract XL for the moment, but Trymbi was forced away there. No flash on him. Mid lane tower goes down. Odoamne splitting on the side lane. Cannon Barrage, about a third of its cooldown left for him, so it's a tier 2 for a tier 2. Mid for bot. As Rogue continue to trade around the map. Baron up in 15 seconds time. Let's see where we are in terms of vision. XL don't really have too many deep wards. They've got a couple here. There's one behind the Baron pit for Rogue as well, so they do have vision on XL if they made a beeline for the Baron.
He just picked up an Infinity Edge. I swear that was literally just
Odo?
Yeah.
It was a
Oh,
long
he had a BF. He had a
sword,
BF.
yeah,
Yeah, okay, I missed that. Damn, I thought he literally just dropped all that money on an Infinity Edge.
No, he's just out sniffing for blood, sniffing for a kill now. Odo looking for something. He can match Kayle in the side lane, but I wonder for how much longer.
Well, yeah, I wonder actually. Yeah. Level 17 Kayle with 3 items, even though you're a whole item down, I mean, I'm not as experienced in the matchup this late into the game, but I would say that Kayle could have a decent chance.
I think if Kayle gets the opportunity to run you down, she probably wins it, but if you just barrel chain, clear the wave.
Well, that's the whole thing. Yeah. The barrels is a big thing, and Mikyx.
Just jumps
He's
across
going to be fine. Not a problem.
And the reason Mikyx can step up like this is if he has a teammate nearby, you use the W, even if Cataclysm follows you, you then just E to a teammate, and Malrang will never Cataclysm you unless he knows exactly where the entirety of your team is. Otherwise, it's just a wasted ultimate. So Mikyx very willing just to step up. Finn here pushing forward. Level 18 on its way for him. Now has a Warden's Mail as well to deal with a lot of physical damage coming out of the side of Rogue.
Look at the map right now, and you can actually see that XL have shifted their control from the top side to the bot. They have Nukeduck shadowing behind Finn as he clears out all this vision. And Nukeduck is still invisible on the map. That Hex Flash will be spotted by Mikyx with a good ward. He's actually 2 levels down, I just noticed that. Patrik though, level 16. Very strong on this series, as the Infinity Edge completed. And Rogue are going to take advantage of this. Remember that XL have just invested everything into controlling the bot side. They've brought Odoamne over, so Rogue are going to use their numbers to claim control over the top side river. They will be able to take this Baron very quickly. They have 2 tanks, but it looks like they're looking for a fight.
Finn here as well. Rogue in the darkness right now.
Patrik
uses.
I mean, I thought that would be big, but...
The cleanse is always there for Comp. Now it's down, of course. Mikyx trying to get in from behind the Baron.
That
started
is so
by
fast.
Rogue. Already down to 7,000 HP. Finn can join, though. Charm a possibility. Trymbi with the flash. Mikyx on the flank. Cyclone in on the backline. The Cannon Barrage going out as well. Mikyx's already popped. The right intervention on Markoon isn't going to be enough. Nukeduck walking away. Finn has to do the same. Ding, ding. Unspeakable violence from Rogue. They take the Baron. They claim 3 lives of XL, and they're looking for the win.
Clean team fight comes out from Rogue at long last. We've seen a messy game from both teams, multiple mistakes, but this time it was great execution from Rogue around the Baron. Great patient play. They didn't flip the Baron. They waited for the engage to come through. XL tried to find a flank with Mikyx, but it was immediately shut down. And Odoamne's Gangplank ultimate did so much damage. Now, with the Baron, Rogue are looking to end the game.
Finn has ascended. He'll have those flames coming out of his sword to try and clear the wave here. Mikyx here as well. 3v5, a possible defense available. Oh. The flash EQ, the charm coming out. Finn down though. Now it's all on Nukeduck and Mikyx. Trymbi almost falls, but the towers juggle aggro. Mikyx down now. Nukeduck all on his lonesome. Patrik coming up in 6 seconds time. Has the flash, has the heal, the stopwatch. Will buy some time as Markoon joins the fray. Odo the first to fall. Nukeduck able to dash away, but he's still taken out by Comp. Now it's all on Patrik. In a 3v2, Markoon can only retreat and Comp can only go forward, but Comp will go down. Larssen tries to slide and glide his way in. He can just end the game. Patrik with the ultra shot laser needs some HP. Does still have the flash. Rogue looking for the win, and Larssen will shuffle them to victory.
Wow, intense ending to the game. It looked like XL could hold on there. Patrik almost making the hero play, but Larssen, he was still at a safe range. And what an incredible fight from Rogue at the very end there. Very well executed. It was a messy game from both sides. Pros and cons. A lot to review for sure. But a great ending overall. After the game was neutralized a little bit, it all came down to that one big fight around Baron.
But huge credit as well to Rogue for neutralizing it. XL got the Baron, and then they lost 4 kills and 2,000 gold with the Baron buff on. And it felt like Rogue just found pick after pick after pick after pick. and were able to stop XL from actually pushing with that Baron. And then after that, XL struggled to find any way to really take control of the game again. Is Larssen okay? Do we need a medic up on the stage, guys?
Good. I missed what happened there.
Can we just have a medic check on Larssen, or someone check on Larssen for us, please, guys? Thank you very much.
But congratulations once again to Rogue. Big victory, much needed victory as well. But especially when we think about their last few weeks.
Yeah. I can also run across if...
No, we're okay.
Okay. There should be someone over there, so...
Just the doctor in him, naturally taking over.
I just want to make sure it's okay, mate. Like, anyway, your key player of the game votes at LEC on Twitter. Odoamne, Comp, and Trymbi are your options. I think they all had really good games. Odo obviously got out to that really big early lead, and then his cannon barrage pivotal in that late tough fight.
For sure. And of course, Comp in those last few team fights, his positioning was fantastic on the Kalista, and overall it was a very good game from Rogue. So impressive stuff from them, and as we were saying, a much needed win for sure. They have been struggling just a little bit over the last few weeks. They didn't start the split off fantastically, and slowly making their way back up towards the top side of the standings is something that they very much needed.
Oh, they definitely did. For XL, of course, only their second loss of the season. There were some very bright moments in that game, but they definitely struggled during the middle portion of the match to regain control after they lost that Baron fight. I believe we are just waiting for an interview to be set up for us. It looks like Trymbi and Laure are on the sideline, so it'd be great to hear from him. Especially, I'd love to know what the decision-making was around him and Comp finding those repeated picks, because it was the Fates call where they chased down Patrik, it was catching out Mikyx. Like, that's really what got Rogue back into the game.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just a well-played mid-game overall from Rogue.
Does look like Larssen's back up on his feet and going backstage with the medic, so great to see him recovered from whatever that small issue was. Obviously, player safety is always the most important thing for us. We are going to hand it over to Laure, who's standing by with Trymbi. Or sitting, in fact.
Yeah, sitting. We're just taking the interview over here. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Trymbi, also for joining me for this interview. Congrats on taking down XL. A tough opponent, if I may say, given how XL has been doing well since the start of the season. And I want to talk about the approach you had here for the team, because looking at the prio you had on almost every lane, for me, it felt like old Rogue, if that makes sense. And I know how proactive was XL so far. So tell me about the approach and the work you had to do in the early game to take them down.
I mean, we're pretty proactive, right? We had a lot of champs to, like, the champs that we could actually play around, right? They drafted a bit similar, but in a sense, they had weaker champs earlier.
Yeah.
So we could, like, I guess, punish it in some way. They punished us well on bot lane, right? They got a kill. But regardless, after that fight on bot lane, when they like died us two, they used Psalms and this, it was really bad for them because they couldn't really fight Herald afterwards. We could like pretty much snowball the game. And I think like from that point of view, state of the game, it was pretty hard for them to play until a couple of items, I would say.
You say snowball the game, but it feels like the pace of the game slowed down a bit at some point, taking the Baron, then inting the Baron a bit afterwards. But yeah, how do you explain that you guys were not able to close out as fast as it was expected from you?
I think we are not really... I don't think we understood fully how to through which lane to play around, and we are doing a lot of different stuff on the map. I think we're still not synced yet with what we want to do specifically all the time. So sometimes we get a bit lost in a sense that we don't go through the proper lanes that we should go and stuff like that. But I think overall it was pretty fine game. I think Malrang was doing a great job on top side. He got the full tower for GP, so GP was obviously out of control. We entered one fight, which was pretty sad because they had Zeri right. We didn't reset the fight, so she could just easily get 4 kills and just snowball the game. But I'm happy that we could actually manage, go through it and manage to win this one.
Just Zeri doing Zeri things, kind of an orange champion, if I may say. But talking a bit more about you, you couldn't see it because you were playing the game, but we had a lower third about you saying that this was your 100th LEC game.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
indeed.
Quite a lot.
Time flies also, but how do you reflect on the progress you made since you joined the LEC?
I guess I'm a boomer at this point. Actually, it's 100 games, so much. So many games. It's unbelievable. I would never think of it. Right now, especially when we came back to stage, right, with crowd, I feel like I'm a rookie right now because I don't know this feeling at all. It's so different to me that there are actually people. The atmosphere is completely different on stage right now. It just feels, it's just surreal to me. So I still find myself in like a rookie type of split, this split, because I just have new feelings right now with like everything is happening around. And even though I had so many games, I played like 2 finals, I don't feel it, you know. Right now when crowd is here, it's really different, really different.
You may feel like a rookie, but you win. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that, because you may feel like a rookie, but you became one of the best support we have in the LEC right now. So, Trymbi, thank you so much for the interview. Congrats on taking XL down today. And the top 6 showdown continues after this with Fnatic, Astralis. And during the break, don't forget to check our Warner Song of the Week, Big City Life by Laure, on the official LEC playlist on Spotify. Stay tuned, guys.
Winning his matchup, taking control of this lane.
Incredibly impressive stuff, really inspirational.
And here we go, he's looking for something. What a move! This man is on fire!
That's the kind of play which makes me want to be on stage. Hold on.
Thank you so much for joining me. Tell me, how do you feel after making that play?
Don't you ever get lonely from time to time? Don't let the system get you down. Mix it to life, me try to get mine. Pressure lines up no matter what. Me try mix it to life, in my heart of my base. And right now Babylon get on me face. Mix it to life, try to get mine. Pressure lines up no matter what. Me try mix it to life, my heart of my base. People in a shadow.